I hope you can hear me. I hope you can see me. Maybe someone can let me know if everything is okay. So maybe in the chat you can let me know. I see a thumbs up. Great. Excellent. So welcome everyone. We're here with about 20 people and some others may join us, which is great. And the next hour we can have a chat about studying in Delft at my institute. I am Ewout Kok. I'm the marketing officer at IHE, working at the communication office. And I prepared a presentation for you this afternoon. Approximately, that's going to be 30 minutes. And then afterwards, I hope we can do a Q&A. So feel free to ask me all kinds of questions on the basis of the presentation or anything. We can do that either through the chat, or you can even, I think, just unmute yourself and ask the question directly. So I hope that is clear. I will start with the presentation now. Like I said, it's about half an hour, and questions can be asked in half an hour after the presentation. Let's see. Okay. And again, I think it's all visible to you now. So without further ado, I will start the presentation now. So IHE Delft is based in Delft, which is a relatively small town in the Netherlands, of about 100,000 inhabitants. It is located in the west of the Netherlands, close to the North Sea. It is about, let me see if I see the, okay. I see a chat now, and I think everything is fine. So I'll just continue the presentation. So Delft, located in the west of the Netherlands, just near the North Sea. Delft is about 45 minutes from Amsterdam by train. Everything, the whole of the Netherlands, you can reach easily by public transport. So there are a lot of trains riding everywhere, and from Amsterdam, and that is, if you come to us, you will arrive there at the airport, and it's only 45 minutes to get to Delft. Well, and furthermore, the Netherlands is quite central in Europe. Brussels is like 2 hours by train, or not even. It's 1.5 hours, I think, and Paris is 3 hours by train. And you can even go by train to London, and that's also 3 or 4 hours. So it's a perfect place to discover both the Netherlands and Europe, I'd say. Okay, next slide. So this slide, I think, tells a lot about Delft. So you see, it's yeah, the typical postcard picture of a Dutch town. Delft is, yeah, very charming, I would say. There are a number of canals with the typical Dutch houses on the side, and it's a very safe and friendly place with a lot of restaurants, shops, etc. And the good thing is that IHE is the building, the campus is located right in the center of Delft. So a lot of our students, if there's a lunch break, they walk along the canals and visit a coffee shop for some drinks, or a lunchroom for some lunch. And it makes it very convenient, I would say, to be located in this place. So we are actually, the campus is on this canal. Yeah, you would, if you come to Delft, you would see plenty of this, I would say. So about the institute, IHE Delft Institute for Water Education, that's the full name, is the largest international graduate education institute in the field of water. And we confer fully accredited MSc degrees and PhDs. Since 1957, we have provided education to more than 23,000 water professionals from actually all over the world. And then the vast majority is coming from the global south. And I think out of all those countries, most of our alumni even come from Indonesia. I think we have between 1,500 and 2,000 alumni. So people who studied at IHE Delft from Indonesia, and most of them are now quite active in the water sector in your country. Well, furthermore, we have about 100, the number is a little bit less than indicated on this slide. We have about 100 PhD fellows who are doing their PhD studies in Delft at the moment. And furthermore, our colleagues, our staff is engaged in a lot of projects all over the world. Basically, those are so-called capacity development projects. And by doing that, they really know what's going on in the water world. They travel regularly to all parts of the world to basically engage in these projects with a lot of partners and also with a lot of alumni, so people who studied at IHE. As you may have seen, we also carry the UNESCO logo in our logo. And that's not for no reason. IHE Delft is quite closely related to the United Nations. First of all, to UNESCO. We are a so-called Category 2 institute, which means that, yeah, basically we are independent from UNESCO. We are not a real UN institute, but we work closely with UNESCO, and then specifically the International Hydrological Program, that's IHP. That is a intergovernmental program run at UNESCO, all about hydrology and water management. Furthermore, we work in projects a lot with other UN agencies, such as the WMO, the World Meteorological Organization, FAO, Food and Agriculture, UNICEF, also a lot in the field of drinking water and sanitation. We work with UNICEF a lot. And the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change is also something that some of our staff are active in doing research relating water to climate. Well, you're here because you are interested in following a course in the Netherlands or maybe even at IHE. So I'm going to tell you a bit more about the programs we offer and how to apply for those programs. And I'm going to tell you a bit about scholarships available for those programs. But in short, we offer next to a PhD program, and I'm not going to talk too much about that. I'm going to mainly elaborate on the MSc programs we offer. And apart from that, we also have short courses. Those are 1, 2, 3 week courses, mainly at IHE Delft, that you could follow in Delft. There are online courses. Those courses can be followed part-time, so next to your study or next to your work online. It's a number of hours, like 8 hours a week, and that for a period of 3 to 4 months even. So that's quite lengthy. And apart from that, we offer a lot of open courseware, so that's freely available course material on our website. But like I said, I'm going to focus on our master program, or actually master programs, because we offer a couple. So the next, let's say 20 minutes, I will be talking about that mainly. So in this year, this is a very exciting year because we start with the MSc in Water and Sustainable Development. And that's our new program, our new Master of Science program that replaces most of the programs we offered in the past 20 years or so. So basically, in this MSc in Water and Sustainable Development, we combine all the disciplines we offer. And basically, we offer a solution for every student or professional working in water in all kinds of disciplines. And I will tell a bit more about that later. But basically, it brings together a lot of various disciplines related to water management, hydrology, you name it, ranging from more the governance and management aspects to the more technical aspects, engineering aspects of water. But I'll tell a bit more about that. And apart from this MSc in Water and Sustainable Development, which starts this year in November, we offer 4 Erasmus Mundus programs. And these are really interesting programs as well. I will tell a bit more about that later, but the idea in those Erasmus Mundus programs is that you go to at least 3 European countries, including the Netherlands at IHE. And those programs take 2 years to complete. In the second semester, so the second half year of the first year, you will come to Delft, you will come to us, and you will join part of the program in Water and Sustainable Development. And then after that half year, after that semester, you will go to another partner institute in Europe for the third semester. And then finally, the last part of the study, you could return to IHE to do your thesis there. But I'll tell a bit more about that later. First, the MSc in Water and Sustainable Development. Well, This slide shows a lot actually. Let me start with the timetable, I'd say. So what you see here are the months. The program starts in November this year, and then it takes 1 year to complete. It runs until at the end of October of 2023, and ends, of course, with the Msc Thesis defense and graduation. But okay, how to get there? How to complete the program? Well, for that, you basically select one of the 4 thematic tracks first, and that's already a first indication of your interest, I would say. We have a thematic track on water, food, and energy, dealing with hydropower, dealing with agriculture, with irrigation, with land use, but basically the relation between water and food. So that's water, food, and energy. Water and health deals with provision of clean drinking water. It deals with sanitation aspects of water and sewerage, for example. Water hazards, risk, and climate deals with, well, mainly the consequences of climate change and the related risks. So, for example, in Indonesia, there are a lot of floods, and in this program, you learn how to deal with floods, how to maybe work on early warning systems, how to do hydro meteorological modeling, trying to anticipate the weather and the consequences for the water systems. That's water hazards, risks, and climate. And then lastly, water resources and ecosystem health is basically dealing more with water and nature, with wetlands, with water quality in general, how to basically make sure that water for nature is available and clean. So you choose one of those thematic tracks, and then within those tracks, you also choose a discipline, and I'll tell a little bit more about that in the next slide. But here, I just want to focus on the setup of the program. You see there are common parts, that's purple. And then there are the track modules. Well, these track modules, they are basically guided by the thematic track you choose, and that's your this is where you specialize, I would say, together with the classmates who also choose the similar thematic track. You see that there are 6 track modules. Well, you follow that in your specific track, and then in those mixed weeks, you see there are like 4 of those. Everyone comes together and basically discusses more general water topics, and also more general skill sets you need to tackle water issues in your career, and they are cross-cutting. So that's more about, for example, presentation skills and negotiation skills, and these kind of things that basically are not related to the in-depth thematic tracks at all, but to working in the water sector in general. After following those track modules, you do an interdisciplinary project. So in that way, you really also get to know what others are doing, and you basically learn this more holistic aspect of water, and water management, you learn to deal with others, with engineers, social scientists, basically lawyers, even anyone who has a stake in water management, and you basically learn to tackle a number of cases together with people with coming from another background. And then lastly, a couple of months, you really specialize on your field of interest by doing the Msc Thesis. And this is something that is, again, closely related to your thematic track, but also to your personal interests. So you can basically study anything related to water. And you do that either in Delft, in the Netherlands, for example, by doing lab work or to work on some kind of computer model. But some people also go back to their home country or to a different country to do some field work, and then later to come back to Delft and to write the thesis and to conclude. And then that is followed by the presentation and the graduation. So that's a fully packed year. So don't expect a lot of free time. You're really going to be busy joining this program. Of course, there are the moments to relax a bit and to see parts of the Netherlands and Europe, but overall, it's quite intense, I would say. I told you that per track you can choose a disciplinary profile, and to make it even a bit more complicated. So I hope you're still with me on this. But I told you there are these different, and we call them societal issues, the ones I just mentioned in the previous slide. And those issues you can even study from a different perspective. And we call those perspectives disciplinary profiles. And basically, well, I would say they speak for themselves. You can study, for example, water, food, and energy from an engineering profile. You can also study it from a governance and management profile. You can study it from an environmental profile or a digital innovation profile. Well, and what does that mean? I think I can best explain that by, in this slide, you see that, for example, hey, so you want to focus on water, food, and energy. And then from a different kind of profile, well, you see here a list of relevant bachelor degrees that basically are required to enter this profile. And what you see is that everywhere there is civil engineering. So if you have a background in civil engineering, you're welcome to choose either one of these profiles to study the track. So there are, for example, civil engineers that simply want to deepen their engineering knowledge and skills. Well, they choose the engineering profile. But there are also civil engineers that don't necessarily wish to deepen their knowledge and skills on civil engineering, but more on the governance and management aspects of water. And they are most welcome to join the governance and management profile, to basically look at other things than the hardcore engineering related to water, food, and energy. but more about how to organize yourself around these topics. There's also a possibility of doing digital innovation, and that is for people who wish to, really work with models and work with GIS, with all the tools that are available nowadays to improve water management. So you see that's all open for engineers from all kind of backgrounds. So civil engineers, but also agricultural engineers, environmental engineers. But then, for example, the governance and management profile is also open for people coming from sociology or who have a background in economics, who have a background in law, political science. So those people who don't have a engineering background, they can enter this profile. So they cannot enter the more engineering profiles. Well, that's logical, because if you don't have the mathematical background or the natural sciences background, well, you should not follow the engineering profile, but more the one on the more less technical side of things. So for those people, governance and management is available, and so on and so further. So for every different background and interest, there is a solution. So basically, while applying at IHE, you choose again a track and a profile based on your bachelor degree and on your personal interest. And then we can admit you to the program if you have the right background. But then later you can always fine-tune your study. And we explained that here. You do that in combination with the coach. So as soon as you are admitted to the program, so let's say you want to study water and health from an engineering perspective, you submit your application, you submit all your papers, we accept you to the program, you find funding, so it's sure you come to IHE. Then at that time, we will link you to one of our colleagues to look at the profile and the track you've chosen. And with this colleague, with this coach, you will engage in a discussion about, okay, so what do you really want? This person will challenge you, and closely together, you will basically make your trajectory in our program and make sure that you really choose the right modules. And this is basically what I'm talking about. Also looking at the time now, I should speed up a little bit. So this is the track Water, Food and Energy. Again, if I go up, it's this track, the first track, Water, Food and Energy. And you see here the different colors again, and they correspond with the different profiles. So again, here's the timetable I showed. We're talking about this taught part of the master, these modules, they are shown here. Just to give you an example, if you join the Water, Food and Energy track from an engineering perspective, you can choose from the dark blue modules. For example, you can start with the module on water in agriculture. followed by a module on enhancing irrigation performance and monitoring. Then continue with a module on irrigation system management. Maybe then do hydraulic design of structures, and followed by operational management of water systems. And you see that is a little bit of a blended module. So in that way, you ensure that you're not just on the technical side, but also you get some governance and management aspects of this track. So basically, there are all kind of pathways possible through these module options. You don't have to decide that right now. You only choose a track and a profile, and then later with the coach you can fine tune. So it could be that you say, okay, actually I also in module 5, for example, I want to focus on artificial intelligence for water systems, and work on some kind of computer model. Then together with the coach, you will see if that's possible, and if that is possible, then you can sign up for that specific module as well. So there's a lot of flexibility. This flexibility makes it a bit hard for me to explain what you can actually study. But for you, in the end, I think it's very beneficial, because you can really compose the program that offers you everything you need related to your personal career ambitions. Well, all these modules are explained on the website in further detail. So visit the website and check the information there about these modules, and I think it will become a bit more clear to you if you spend some more time studying that. Well, you see here all the modules for the track on water hazards, modules for water and health, and the modules for water resources and ecosystem health. And like I said, all of more information is given on the website. Even for each specific module. So spend some time studying that, and things become a bit more clear to you, I hope. Now quickly going to the entry criteria. So if you want to join our program, you need a bachelor degree in an appropriate field. Well, I told about that a few slides ago. The program is open for people from a lot of different backgrounds. And again, this information is available on the website. But you need a bachelor degree. Also, a good command of the English language, which is quite important. You see the IELTS scores or the TOEFL scores. I think it's quite at Dutch universities, people ask this in general, but it's really important for you to, if you don't have the test results yet, to start working on that, because a lot of people it always takes more time than you think, and you don't want to be late with your exams, etc. So English is really important. Well, furthermore, strong motivation to complete the program. We are going to ask you to write a motivation letter if you submit your application. And furthermore, the professional experience. It is it's not a very hard entry criteria, but we prefer people who have some professional experience, specifically, of course, in the water sector or something related to water. Because the idea at IHE is that you're not just spoon-fed with our information, with our classes, but also you learn a lot from fellow students. And if you bring your own experiences into the classroom, yeah, you can really enrich the program of others and vice versa. Application deadline is the 1st of July this year, but that's probably, or most people come with a scholarship, and if you wish to sign up for a scholarship, you probably have to apply way earlier. So you see that here, there are a number of scholarship opportunities to join the programs. There's the Gates Foundation, Rotary Foundation, the Joint Japan and World Bank Scholarship Program, and the OKP/LPDP program. And you could even say OKP LPDP/StuNet. I'm not sure. Probably this day you have seen presentations about that very interesting program as well. Well, all of these programs are described on our website in the following link. Yeah, very important to note is that they have deadlines coming up, starting with OKP LPDP. That's a program for practicing professionals, so you need to be employed in order to sign up for this scholarship. This deadline is 22nd of March. The Rotary program is 15 April. For Rotary, you need to approach a Rotary club in your town or in your region, and with them come up with some kind of proposal. This is all described on our website as well. And the Joint Japan World Bank Scholarship Program has a deadline in May this year. So a lot of our applicants, they basically start with OKP, submit an application or get academic admission first, then submit an application for the OKP program, and then basically use a lot of the material for this application to also submit an application for the Joint Japan World Bank program, and even for the other scholarship programs. So if you bet on a lot of horses, in the end you increase your chances of receiving one of these scholarships. Yeah, this slide tells a little bit about the size of our program. We, in general, I would say every year we have about between 200 and 250 new incoming MSc students coming from all over the world. I think at IHE that's one of the fantastic things at our institute. You can really meet the whole world, and that makes it a very lively and interesting place to study. Yeah, a little bit before I stop about the Erasmus Mundus programs. I told you before, those are joint programs that take 2 years to complete. In those programs, you are, and I think it shows here, yeah, in those programs, there are 4 semesters, and the second semester that runs from March until September. You will come to IHE Delft and you will study a number of selected modules in the MSc in Water and Sustainable Development, the one I just described to you. And then after that semester, you go to one of the partner institutes in Europe to study there. And then you may return in the end of the study to IHE Delft to do your thesis research. Well, all of these programs, they have a dedicated website. all listed on our website, so you can visit those websites to see more information. I'm going to go one slide back to briefly introduce you to the 4 programs. There's one on flood risk. Well, that's quite interesting for Indonesia as well, I would say. That is with University of Dresden in Germany, UPC in Barcelona in Spain, and the University of Ljubljana in Slovenia. There's a new program, we just launched it on coastal hazards, risks, climate change and adaptation. And that is with University of Cantabria in Spain and University of Algarve in Faro, Portugal. And this program well, deals with coastal zone management and also with sea level rise, climate change, the risks of extreme events such as floods, and how to deal with that and how to adapt to that. That's a really interesting program. There's a program on groundwater and in relation with climate change, dealing a lot with droughts, with all aspects of using groundwater for example, for agriculture, but also for industry, and how to deal with that. Very interesting as well. And then there's the IMETE program dealing with more the environmental science and environmental technology, completely different again from the other program, really focusing on all issues related to water quality. Very interesting as well. Let's see, the entry criteria for those programs are more or less the same as the entry criteria for the MSc in Water and Sustainable Development. The only difference is that professional experience is welcome, of course, but it's not necessary for these programs. In general, what we see is that people joining the Erasmus Mundus programs are a bit younger than those joining the MSc in Water and Sustainable Development. But in the end, if everyone comes together in the classroom, it's a nice combination of people of different age groups. For you to make it a bit more concrete, I think the average age of our students is about 30 years, and there are some students I would say, starts at 22 and it ends at 35 or even 40 years of age. That is a bit the range of our students' population. Okay, so going back to the Erasmus Mundus programs, the application deadlines are mainly in May this year, so that's earlier than the program in Water and Sustainable Development. Because the Erasmus Mundus programs, they start also 2 months earlier in September. For the programs, there are very interesting Erasmus Mundus scholarships available. 2 of the programs, that's Coast Azar, so the program dealing on coast, still is open to apply, or actually it just opened because it's a new program. So the deadline is 31st of March to apply for an Erasmus Mundus scholarship. And IMETE, the program on water quality and environmental technology and environmental science, is also still open for Erasmus Mundus scholarships applications until the 4th of March. So if you're interested, go to that website, see if you match the application admission requirements, submit your application. If we accept you, then you can basically apply for the Erasmus Mundus scholarship. An interesting thing is that you can both apply for one Erasmus Mundus program as well as to the Master on Sustainable Water and Sustainable Development. That is what a lot of our applicants do. They apply for an Erasmus Mundus program, but also for the regular program. And well, it's the same, like I told, with it depends a bit in the end on well, scholarship offers and your own personal interest to see which program you possibly eventually enroll in. But it's good to note that you can apply for one Erasmus Mundus program as well as to the MSc in Water and Sustainable Development at the same time. Let's see. Yeah, I'm gonna quickly, because we only have 12 minutes left. Alumni Network, well, you see alumni from all over the world. Employment opportunities, well, our alumni, they work at academia. Some of them, they become really good researchers and teachers at various universities in all kind of water-related programs. Alumni work for national and local governments, for example, in Indonesia at international or the Indonesia Port Corporation, or at the Ministry of Public Works. A lot of our alumni work in the private sector, at different engineering consultancies, for example. Also, alumni work at international organizations. That's because we have those links with the UN. It might be, IHE might be a gateway to, well, working for the UN, working for UNICEF, working for the FAO or one of those organizations who also have water-related programs, as well as alumni work for NGOs. So there are a lot of NGOs, of course, active in the field of water, and a lot of our alumni, they find employment in one of those international NGOs addressing water issues. I'm gonna end the presentation by just showing a few pictures. So just to give you an idea about the Institute, well, this is our garden. The IHE is quite small. I told you we have about 200 to 300 students coming in every year. We are not like a huge university with a huge campus. It's like it still has quite a personal scale, I would say. Here you see a typical picture of a classroom. Well, you see that people really come from all over the world. So there's really a variety of backgrounds at IHE, and that makes it really a really nice place to study. Well, at IHE, we can make use of the sports facilities of the Delft University of Technology, our big brother in town. So aside from your study, you can do sports and you can play football. There's even a badminton team, basketball, anything, fitness facilities. It's all available to students of IHE. This is the field work usually taking place in spring, depending also on your study. But we try to go out as much as possible, especially when the weather is nice in the Netherlands, to basically do field work, to do some basic measurements, to do a little research. That's always a very nice part of your study, I would say. Also, apart from field work, we do field trips, so excursions to, for example, other water sector organizations where they explain how they are organized or how they which problems they face. And we do that in the Netherlands, but also in bordering countries such as Germany or Belgium, France, even Spain. So that's also yeah, really interesting in the program. World Water Day, that is the 22nd of March. We always have some kind of festivity we organize with the students. And I think that's, well, the final picture is about the presentation or is about the graduation. This is the final moment of the study. It's always quite festive. Everybody's really happy to have concluded their studies. And that is always, yeah, a great moment. At the graduation ceremony. Okay, I'm quickly gonna shut down this presentation. I'm gonna be visible to you and gonna take a look at the chat to answer the questions. And for those who I cannot answer now, I'm going to be in the booth the next 2 or 3 hours to also chat with you. So there is an opportunity to continue the talk. Okay, where to start? And people raise their hands. First of all, I'm going to stop sharing, I think. Stop share, yes. And let's see. Well, maybe Tricia, please unmute yourself and feel free to ask a question. You have to unmute yourself, please. We cannot hear you. Tricia, please unmute yourself. Nah, that doesn't work. Okay, I'm just gonna turn to the chat now. Hello, Ewout. I graduated in civil engineering program, have interest in coastal and.
Hello.
Hello, Tricia. Can you just briefly ask your question?
Okay, just a short question. Hello, Iit. I am graduated from UNESCO IHE in 2013, and I
good,
really
good.
Yes. Hi, how are you? A long time no see. Hope you are in a good health. And I have some question. First, I would like to know about the entry criteria for the PhD program, because I have interest to.
I see. Okay.
Yes. And then what is when is the deadline for the PhD program? And then the second is there any short course? So I mean, in the pandemic time like this, short course it just stopped. So is there a continuity of the short course program? And what is the short course, and where we can find the info? That's it, Ewout, and thank you.
Thank you, Tricia, for your questions. I'm just briefly gonna answer those. So the entry criteria for the PhD program are listed on our website. I will simply send you a mail with a link to that.
Thank you.
You have your contact details.
Okay.
There's no application deadline. It's applications for PhD are on a running basis, so you can always submit your application there. And then the short courses, well, they're still this year we offer a number of short courses on campus, so they won't be offered online, but really in the, let's say, old school on campus way. And actually right now OKP is still open, and since Indonesia is on the OKP list, it is possible for you to apply for OKP funding. But I noted your name. I will send you an email.
May I ask one more question?
Yes.
Should we have the letter of acceptance first from the professor in the UNESCO IHE?
For short courses, you mean?
No, for the PhD program.
Yes, yeah. It's PhD program. It's a big process, of course, to submit an application, but it really starts with finding a professor and ideally co-creating a research proposal before submitting the application.
Oh yeah, and send my regard to Professor Charlotte and Dr. Suryadi.
Of course, I will. Yes.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you, Tricia. Okay, next question. I'm going to be really fast. Graduated civil engineering program, have interest in coastal and river engineering. Few questions. Which thematic track should I choose to apply? Yeah, that's a good question. Coastal and river engineering. I would say that is the for coastal, that track is water hazards, risk, and climate. Yes. To apply, should I have a thesis proposal first, which is related with? No, you don't have to have a thesis proposal. The only thing, and that will show in your motivation letter, is basically you have to have an idea of what you wish to study with us, related to what you related to your ideas about the career after your study. That's my short answer. I'm just going to answer one more question, and then I'm going to apologize to all of you who posted the question in the chat, which I cannot answer right now because of the time. But please come to the booth and I will talk to you there, so we can continue the talk in our booth. Okay, so one question: once application is successfully submitted, how long does it take to receive acceptance? That's up to 4 weeks. So it really depends on the quality of your application. If you prepared everything quite well and we don't have any further questions, then the application process can go quite fast. But in principle, it can take up to 4 weeks to get before you can get the acceptance letter. And you're interested in water and health, which is great. Okay. Well, maybe one more. I want to ask MC Water Sustainable. What in this program focus on freshwater? What is this program focus on? Freshwater marine water research. I need to get I'm from marine side. Yeah, okay. So our programs are mainly about freshwater, I would say, but the coastal program has also some marine science, oceanography, and these kind of things. So maybe the Costa Azar is also interesting for you in this specific case. And then the scholarships, VHSD. Yes, well, I explained a bit about the scholarship opportunities already. So I hope that answered your questions. And then Fadlila always offer different. Okay, that's also an interesting question. No, we hardly change our MSc program, so this is an exceptional situation this year. We the MSc in Water and Sustainable Development is a new program. That's our new program for the next decade, I would say. And the tracks and the profiles probably, and we could make some tweaks in the future, but in principle, this is it. One thing I didn't mention is that as of next year, we will also launch a research master. That's a 2-year master. Also, yeah, basically with a similar setup, especially in the first year as the regular master, the 1-year master, but it has an additional year to really focus on research, anticipating possibly on a PhD. Okay, well, I'm just going to continue because it's we are allowed to continue, obviously. Does the thesis team have to be created when registering? No. In general, how do students usually start and work on their thesis in IHE Delft, since it has a lot to do with the research lab? Okay. I'm not sure if I understand the question, but in principle, having an idea about your thesis when you start the study is perfect, of course. So it really helps you to focus, and you discuss these things with your coach, and I would say, yeah, how does the thesis start? Halfway through your study, I would say you can already, and you do that again in consultation with your coach, you can already address certain issues related to your thesis, but it really starts after the integrated projects, and when you have the time to focus on your individual research. Before that, yeah, there's a lot of, you have to focus on the content of the modules and the group work, and of course you can already start some the thinking process, but the actual activities will start as in the final months of your study. Okay. That's see from your brochure, university has nanobiology faculty, which is joined with Erasmus School of Medicine. That's from Kiki. Kiki, if you're still there, I cannot answer this question just like that. Perhaps just visit the booth and start a chat there. And yeah, we can elaborate on that, on your specific question. Oh, I see we have to close the session indeed. So we're going to conclude it now. Thank you all for joining. I hope it was clear. And please visit the booth if you have any more questions. So I hope to see you there. If not, I hope to see you at a certain time at IHE. So thank you very much, and see you later.